Welcome everybody to GamerPod. I am your host Aaron Weiss alongside the Sultan of Stockbridge, the Jester of Jonesboro, Jacob Deal Moore.
Yo, that is me. What's up? I am in Stockbridge in Jonesboro. I guess I'm both. I guess it makes sense. I live like a stone's throw away from Jonesboro, but I live in Stockbridge, so I guess I can be both.
You work in Jonesboro, so it made sense to me.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I guess you got a point there.
You know, Jacob, it feels good doing a podcast with you again.
It does feel good. For those that don't know, we started a podcast. What's that? 2, maybe 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
It's pushing more closer to 3. Anyways, we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just kind of messing around, recording audio, throwing it out there in the interweb, seeing what happens. Well, we've learned a lot this past 3 years, 2 years, whatever time frame you want to say. We decided to try it with something new, a little more streamlined,
We
a
sure
little more
did.
focused.
We sure did.
And I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a good one. What's the podcast about, Weiss?
So the podcast is called GamerPod, and it's a show where each and every week on your favorite podcast service, Jacob and I will talk about video games and what we love about them. We'll have different topics each week. We have a solid first 9 or 10 episodes just planned out. We took some time last week to plan out those first 10 or so episodes. And, if you like that and you want to be a part of our show, go to patreon.com/Weisscast. That's right. The Patreon is still called Weisscast, where you can ask questions that you might want to be answered on the air. Or if you want to be a part of the show, we'll tweet out the topic before the show, before we record, and you can be a part of the show there and share your thoughts on that week's subject.
Yeah, and so it's just going to look like each week's going to be a little bit of a unique subject, something that we thought would be interesting to talk about, and something that we've either talked about in the past or we really want to talk about in the future. But we're also going to have room for some news. So, like, if there's like some breaking news, like usually during the summer, we've got a lot of gamer news that's happening with E3 and a bunch of other developers talking about what's coming up. So we'll always make sure that we leave room to have news specific weeks if it allows. Right now we're kind of in a slower season, just kind of news just kind of trickles out whenever they feel like releasing news, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, we have one piece of news today, and it won't take up very much of the show. But this is our first episode, so we didn't even send out the tweet for people to write in on the subject. We'll do that in coming episodes as the show gets rolling.
In reality, though, this first episode is more of just like to understand who we are, like where we're coming from a gamer's perspective, and it's less of like a topic that we would normally do. It's more of just like, hey, here's Jacob, here's Weiss. This is where we come from a gaming perspective. This is what we are used to / where we're at now, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Just so as we're continuing, people can be like, oh man, Jacob knows nothing about the Sega Dreamcast. But if they listen to the first episode, they would learn I do know something about the Sega Dreamcast.
Exactly. GamerPod is brought to you by our Patreon producers, chronoslinger and Pepe Danger. If you want to be a part of the show that way, patreon.com/Weisscast. If you don't have any change to toss our way, that's no big deal. You can catch the show each and every week on podcast services around the globe. Some housekeeping for you just right before we get started. Weisscast has changed. It is now going to be a monthly show where friends kind of just BS about whatever they want to BS about. I'm kind of envisioning a show where people bring a topic that interests them and they just kind of talk about it for a little bit, and then we post it on Patreon first and then later on podcast services. And Weiss camera action is staying the same, and this show, GamerPod, is filling the power vacuum that is video games. And I'm so excited about it. Talking about it last week, making our jingle for the intro. It was awesome. It got me really excited about this show.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Whenever we were talking about the show, we realized that we were both super passionate about video games. That's kind of like what we are connecting point in our friendship, and not only just our friendship, but other people's friendships. So we have and we just, video games are part of our lives. It always has been. So we figured, hey, why not just make a gamer specific podcast? So I'm really excited. The other podcasts are still going to do good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but this one's going to be the best, obviously.
It for sure is. It for sure is. Before we get to the topic of the show, let's just quickly read the news. Yesterday, it was leaked that Nintendo ordered a bunch of Samsung OLED screens. I wonder why.
Yes, yes, I'm excited. This is something that we have talked about, kind of in depth, of this idea of a pro version of Nintendo. I use pro version in the terms that Nintendo calls their like elite stuff pro,
Mm-hmm.
or or just like most game companies in general. Like if you want like the next level is gonna be the pro level. I'm really excited about this. I don't know what it's gonna look like for the docking situation because I think they really could do something with like a dedicated GPU and a dock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to speculate too much on that. I love the idea of like having an OLED display though for a Switch.
I love the idea too. I mean, the implications there are like better battery life, a little bit sleeker design. The OLED panels themselves don't take as much room in the housing, so that could lead to either bigger battery or potentially more memory for storing games. You could do a lot of stuff with that extra space because apparently they're keeping the same chassis, and people have measured the current screen and bezels, and you can perfectly fit a 7-inch screen in there bezel-less. So that would look really
Ooh,
cool.
that would look cool.
And it would make it so they don't have to create other Joy-Cons, which, I mean, love them or hate them, like they are a pretty cool idea. I
Yeah, it's good. I'm really excited about it.
mm-hmm. The rumor is that they're working with NVIDIA on a chip that will it'll be very similar to the existing chip that they have right now, but
Yeah,
NVIDIA has some AI chip that will artificially upscale to 4K, but it looks really good still. I've seen comparison pictures to the AI 4K and just the normal 1080 resolution, and it's a big difference. It's not true 4K, which I'm not as big of a snob on, honestly. Like 4K is 4K to me. I don't have that nice of a TV to say, oh, this is obviously like native 4K. Like I have a decent 4K TV, but it's very entry level.
yeah, that's where I'm at with the 4K. Definitely, I think in the next few years, though, I'll have a nicer 4K TV.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Anyways, oh, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say I'm hoping to get a nicer 4K TV in the next few years
Yeah,
as well.
I was just gonna go ahead and wrap up that section and just be like, hey, we're gonna give you more information on that. Like we said, we don't know a whole lot. It was
Mm-hmm.
just very very minimum information they gave us. So we just wanted to make sure that you know that there's something on the horizon there. So keep your ears peeled for Nintendo potential the nicer Switch coming out. We're all excited.
And
We are
that
all excited.
that is the news for this week. Jacob, let's get to the topic of the show. What
Dude, let's do it.
what is our history with video games? And I'd be honored if you started.
Yeah, yeah. So history with video games, I'm kind of all over the place, and I feel like you might be as well. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we're probably in similar boats, and I feel like people that grew up, born like early mid '90s, we're kind of like in the same boat. I feel like if you were born after like '99, it's really just PlayStation or Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But I've actually had the honor of owning. I say I owned. My parents owned an Atari. And so that was like my first, like really, like my first memory with the video game system console was an Atari, which was crazy because to think like that's as a 19 being born in '94, that's what I used. But not only that, I used Atari, I've used Sega Dreamcast, I've owned a PlayStation 2, I owned a GameCube, I've owned a Wii, I've owned an Xbox 360. Now, once Xbox 360 came around, though, I was from Xbox. I'm an Xbox fangirl, all in. I just bought the Series X, got it in this week. I'm excited about it. But when it comes to video games, I'm really kind of all over the place. Like I know we mentioned before, like most people when they think of Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, they think of like the PS1, PS2 era. My first introduction with Tony Hawk was on the Sega Dreamcast. Not the most usual way to be introduced to that game, I guess you could say. But I really enjoyed just being able to like think back on this and be like, man, the Sega Dreamcast was a great entry console. And then after that, I entered into a competition at Papa John's. Shout out to my boy PJ, best pizza in town, best local place. That's not local, I guess, because it's technically a franchise. But I entered in a contest there, and I won my very first PS2 there. It was the Thick Boy, the PS2 Thick with three C's. Uh, Dude, I love that system. I ran that system to the ground. My dad had to install a new disk driver on it for me. And this was like, early 2000s when you don't have YouTube. And you're just like figuring it out. You buy it online and hope you can figure it out. But like I said, then after that, like I just kind of like I bounced around. Like my cousins always had Nintendo stuff. I had Nintendo stuff. And so when it comes to video games, I'm really all over the place. Up until recently, this has been the most consistent where I haven't had a PlayStation. So, but I know you have a PlayStation. Do you want to talk anything about that?
Yeah, so I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm not necessarily like super passionate about one company or the other. I started out as Nintendo boy for life. Love Nintendo. I will always have a Nintendo system. I will say, I guess I am passionate about Nintendo. I can say that.
Yeah, no, I would say I will always have a Nintendo system, no matter what.
Yeah. My first gaming experience was with the Super Nintendo. I have a brother that's 8 years older than me. And like I got started early with Donkey Kong Country. That's my first like gaming memory is playing Donkey Kong Country. I was probably like 3. I got a Game Boy for either my third birthday or Christmas
How did I
that year.
forget to mention Game Boys?
Yeah.
Like I forgot to mention the fact that the first system I ever bought with my own money was a Game Boy Advance, and it was the pink version
Yeah.
because they were sold out. And my dad, like we were at Walmart, we randomly asked if they had any. And the guy was like, "Yeah, you probably don't want it. It's pink." And I said, "Nah, man, I need this." Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
you're
off there.
good. You're
I
good.
forgot about Game Boy. Jeez.
So portable gaming has been such a big part of my gamer history. My first console that I was gifted that was purely mine was a GameCube. My brother was always given the consoles because he's older than me. I do remember this story, and here's the way I remember it. I think I told you we had a second edition Super Nintendo. It was the smaller one, the more rounded one. It was on sale one time at Target. Very out of character. My mom bought it for us like on a whim, just like an impulse buy. And
Yeah, she did.
and I very vividly remember that being for the both of us, but then somehow my brother ended up with it. And then he saved up and got a Nintendo 64. And then after that, yeah, that's when I got the GameCube. But yeah, like you, my first console that I saved up for was the Game Boy Advance. I had the Arctic White one. Loved that guy.
Nice.
Loved that guy. I wish it was the perfect form factor,
It really was. It fits so well in your hand. Um, it's what the PSP wanted to be.
It really is. And you know what? I kind of want to find one on eBay and then get a backlit screen and replace the screen with the backlight. I have a Game Boy Advance SP, but the form factor was so much better for the Arctic White Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Well, any color Game Boy Advance.
The Game Boy Advance SP was just too small.
It was. It was a perfect square. If you don't remember, perfect
Yeah,
square when it was folded closed. It was cool that it was very. It was a lot more pocketable. I will give it that.
yeah, it was, but it was they were trying too much for it, I think. But I mean, like looking at the history line of it, like that made way for like the 3DS, and which was obviously a huge success.
Hmm.
Um, but it was just like it was like, come on, man, you went from the Game Boy Advance to that. Like, can we not get something a little thicker?
Yeah, and the Game
Not even
Boy
thicker. I just meant wider. I guess like a little more handheld
a little more
friendly.
handheld.
If you had big hands, it was like so hard to play.
Yeah, you had to get a special attachment that made it feel kind of like a controller.
Yeah.
I never had one of those. I had a friend that had one of those. They were probably only $5 at Walmart, but I just never got one.
Yeah,
Uh,
I never had one of the adapters. I just, for some reason, that was the Game Boy that I had like four of, and I don't know why. I think I just kept breaking them. Um, and I remember having a lot of those Game Boys, and I think it's just because it was the build quality wasn't up to par with like what we see nowadays.
yeah, I mean
I
that
say that like the Switch is even any better. The Switch is so kind of cheaply made.
it is the best made one was Nintendo DS. I think Nintendo DS was so well made,
The DS was a very solid build.
and that again was a system that I just loved and played to death. I still have my DS. It's I think I'll always keep my handhelds. Well, nowadays, I don't know what happened to my Game Boy Advance. I just my original one. I have the SP. I bought it later in life. I never had an SP growing up, but yeah, I don't know what happened to my Game Boy Advance. But I have my Nintendo DS Lite.
The the only handheld I still own is a Game Boy Advance, and that was actually when I bought at a thrift store, just because I was missing it. That's something that I wish if I could have gone back, I wish I would have not got rid of some of my older systems and been able to keep them. Like I never had an N64 growing up, but my cousin did. And like so my cousin grew up like a mile down the road, so we were like more like brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like so I grew up playing his N64 like every day, Double O Seven GoldenEye,
Mm-hmm.
fun times. Um, but like I wish I would have had like I wish if I would have had an N64, I guarantee I probably would have sold it. But I'm lucky enough to be able to I found one. Ooh, it was probably like 5 years ago now, 6 years ago at Goodwill for $5. And it didn't work for the longest time until when I moved up here to Stockbridge. I randomly plugged it into my TV and it started working. And I said, "Whoa, this was broken 5 years ago. I don't know what happened." But then like I had a GameCube and I loved that thing, and then I freaking sold it so I can get a Wii. I was like, part of it wasn't a terrible idea. Like I didn't necessarily need the GameCube. The Wii was able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a dream of one day, once I have a house, I'm a little more debt free, have some more stable income. I want to be able to buy every system that I either grew up playing on or that I personally owned.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I don't have to buy an N64 because I already have one. But I want to have like a game room. I just want to display them all. I just think it would be really cool. Not even necessarily like being able to play it just to be able to like display it. Because like right now, like I've got the Xbox Series X, and I can play the Xbox One games, and I can play the Xbox 360 games, and some of the original Xbox games you can play. And so like I think companies are doing a really good job at making it easier to be able to go back and play those childhood memories.
Yeah, they really are, and I mean, especially Microsoft. Microsoft, it seems like everything's backwards compatible. PlayStation's kind of getting there. They're like very backwards compatible with PS4 games, and actually, if you have a PlayStation 5 and you have a PlayStation Plus membership, you have access to the entire first-party backlog of
Oh
PlayStation
wow, I
4
didn't know
games
that.
for free. Yeah. So any game that you wanted to play on the PlayStation 4 generation that you missed because you didn't have a PlayStation, or you just, were interested in the game but you didn't feel like dropping $60 on it at the time, you can go back and play, which is, just a really good value. And I mean, Xbox has a very similar thing with Game Pass. Like pretty much all their first party games are on Game Pass. I can think of one or two. Oh wait, no, I can't. I was gonna say Game Pass is different on Xbox and PC. So not all of the first parties on both. I think all first parties on Xbox itself, but if for Game Pass for
Yeah,
PC, For example, the rare replay collection isn't on there, and Minecraft isn't on there.
You know what game I'm actually really excited about that I've been eyeing on Game Pass for a while, but since I had the original Xbox One with 500 gigs, I couldn't justify deleting Apex because that's the only game I play.
What?
I our favorite Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, such a good game.
I just downloaded it this morning. I'm gonna dive into that, give it another playthrough. I haven't played it since it came out, honestly. Which in a while.
Yeah,
Got a friend coming over, so I'm just gonna lock myself in the room and play Fallout.
nice. Hey, if you want to play video games later tonight, let me know. I'm free.
Yeah, dude, I'm free for most of my life
Heck yeah. Um,
until I have a kid, I guess. And then, like, I don't know, I have to be a dad. I'm not saying that Kristen's pregnant. I'm just saying whenever that happens,
you know,
imagine to be dad first.
dude, what you do is you get one of those classic rocking chairs. You know what I'm talking about for
Oh
nurseries,
yeah.
and you play on XCloud
Okay.
while you're rocking the baby.
Or I just hire a nanny so I can play Xbox.
Yes, that's the better idea.
Yeah, my kid's gonna turn out being screwed up because I was a terrible dad and didn't spend time with him because all I want to do is play Apex Legends. If you remember anything from if you're one of the original Wisecast listeners, you remember that we love Apex Legends.
Hmm.
We all had a fallout on it. We stopped playing for a while, but I think it was probably November. I got back into it like hardcore, to the point where I'm playing like every single night right now. So different podcast, same stories.
Same stories. I've been thinking about getting back into it, especially it's coming to Switch next Tuesday, I believe.
Yep, Tuesday, big update coming to Switch.
But I don't think it's cross progressive.
No, it is.
It is.
No, it's not cross progression, but it's cross plat.
Yeah, that's
I,
fine.
I watch a lot of YouTube people that play X or play Apex, and like half of them play either on PlayStation and PC, or the other half plays on Xbox and PC. And like that's their biggest thing, like that they wish they had cross progression, just because like, especially because like we're 2 years into the game, and we have like you got a lot of like legendary skins and heirlooms that you got on one system that you
Hmm.
can't get on the other system, and like heirlooms you can't buy the heirlooms, you just have to be like you get them by luck.
Yeah,
And so it's like why are we not making this cross progression yet? But I think that's another episode discussion.
yeah. I want cross progression like I love cross progression in games. Like I've been
It's so
playing I've
nice.
been playing a decent amount of xCloud, which of course I have an Xbox anyways, but I spend a lot of time at my girlfriend's house where I don't have a console, so I play xCloud, play games on xCloud, and eventually that's going to change. I mean, we're going to get married and live in the same house, but for now, it's
And
like
then you'll just continue to play on XCloud, right? Once you get married, like you'll just the Xbox will sit there and you'll just play on XCloud, right? That's how
maybe.
that works, right?
I don't know. It seems to work out for you to just play regular Xbox, so I can follow your lead.
Just have a conversation.
Yeah. um, shoot, but yeah, I don't get the chance to play my consoles as much as I would want to. But I mean, it's great. I love spending time with her. But sometimes I just want to sit down and play Battlefront or Battlefield or a single player game like PlayStation
Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas. PlayStation Plus has been killing it recently with some free games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider came a few months ago. Final Fantasy VII Remake came this month, which I was interested in. I've never played a Final Fantasy game, but I've heard really good things about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I didn't want to spend $60 on it, so it coming to PlayStation Plus for free is great. There's a smaller game that I've heard a lot about called Concrete Genie that came last month that I am probably going to play this afternoon. My plans for the day are recording this podcast, then cleaning out my car, which I've desperately needed to do for a while, and then video games. That's my plans for the day. So I'm looking
Well,
forward to those plans.
Dude, I've got pretty similar plans on my end. My plans, I had to go to the store this morning, pick up some stuff to make some homemade pizza sauce.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I'm making homemade pizza. I'm trying my hand. It's my first time making my own sauce, so I'm really excited. So I'm gonna go do that later. But record this podcast. I decided that I was gonna run a marathon at the end of the year. So I'm starting with a 10K in the middle of summer. So I'm training for a 10K slash marathon. I guess I don't know how you would really say that. I'm running a 10K first and
Mm-hmm.
then a marathon. So, anyways, I run. But after that, dude, I'm just chilling and playing video games. Like it's a life.
It's a beautiful day too, so I
Um,
might go for a walk around
dude,
the neighborhood.
it
Uh,
is. I was gonna go for a run. That's why I asked you to push it back. I was gonna go for a run this morning,
mm-hmm.
and then I woke up and saw how cold it was, and I was like, dude, if I just wait till noon, it's gonna be like almost 70 degrees.
Yep.
And I was like, I think it's like 68 degrees at noon. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna go run at 68 degrees, not 40 degrees. Like, screw that.
Yeah,
Like, I'm so ready for consistent weather here.
I'm gonna go for a nice long walk, then come back, clean my car, play video games, chill the rest of the day. I got no plans.
I always feel less guilty playing video games whenever I've like done stuff like cleaning
Mm-hmm.
the car,
Mm-hmm.
going for a walk or a run, just doing anything other than just sit like. If I would have woken up today and I guess I did wake up and play a little bit of video games. I was playing Call the Hunter.
Hmm.
It's a Game Pass game where you just walk around and hunt things. I killed a moose before I got one. No big deal. Just all a day's work killing mooses or mooses.
Moosin'.
I don't know. Mooses. There we go. We kind of got off topic there about the history of video games, or our history.
We sure
But I
did.
guess it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like I'm all over the place. Like I kind of dabbled with everything. Like even though I say I'm an Xbox fangirl, like I still have a
Mm-hmm.
Wii U in there, and I've got a Switch, and like I still play those relatively frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had endless money, I would buy a PlayStation 5 just because. Honestly, though, the only game I would want on PlayStation, MLB The Show, is now coming to Xbox this year. It's releasing on April 20th, in case you didn't know.
Hey, a couple days before your birthday, maybe you'll get it.
I know. Maybe. I mean, I probably will, because for the last like 5 years, I've wanted a PlayStation solely because MLB The Show, because Xbox did not have a good baseball game.
Yep.
But now, I don't need a PlayStation. I got everything I need right here on this Series X. The thick boy.
I'm hoping a couple things. I hope xCloud keeps getting better and better. Um and I can still play Xbox games with my homies. I have the One S, so like the slightly newer version of the Xbox One, and it runs well. It does what I need it to. So that's why when I upgrade systems, I'm getting the PlayStation 5 first. I'm pretty set on that. There's just some games that are coming out in the near future that I just really, really want to play on PlayStation, which is weird for me because I think that combined with crossplay, like if there was no crossplay, I would definitely go get an Xbox. But like all of the games pretty much that we would play multiplayer for next gen consoles are going to be crossplay.
Yeah. Which crossplay really changed the game in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, like crossplay was like super sucky when it first came out, but like now it's like, I know I'm a youth pastor. For those that don't know, I'm in First Christian Church of Jonesboro. Most of my students play on Xbox or PlayStation, so I'm still able. Like, it's super easy for me to just be able to hop on Xbox and play Apex with them, even though they're on a completely different system. Although I stand by it, PlayStation players are worse than Xbox players in Apex. That's just personal preference.
No, I agree because the PlayStation player base is so much larger. That means probably more children have a PlayStation. And I've always seen Xbox as more of a grown-up console anyways. You know what I mean? Like the bigger
That
kids
could be
had
because
Xbox.
we're that could be because we're grown-ups.
That's fair. That's fair. But like even back in the day, I feel like in the days of PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Well, wait, no. It was kind of the opposite back then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I remember like when I was in high school and I was like I saw PlayStation as being like, oh, you're the old dude, and Xbox be like the one with the toxic lobbies and
Mm-hmm.
the young guys. But I guess I feel like it's kind of like flipped a little.
I think it's just the popular, like the age of the gamer
Whatever's
follows the,
pop, yeah.
yeah, like older dudes like us
PlayStation's
don't
definitely
care.
more popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like whereas Microsoft, I think part of that is like Microsoft kind of screwed themselves. They're not having a true release launch title for their Xbox.
Yeah,
Um, Personally, I think they should have just delayed the release of the Xbox until Halo was available.
I'm so excited for Halo though. Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
the issue is I've got to get a TV that can run 120 frames per second,
I I
which
think my new monitor can.
there's not many TVs out there. I looked up the list, and it's essentially if your TV wasn't made in 2020, like a brand new TV in 2020, like you're pretty much screwed.
And you know that's so interesting because um FPS and like hertz are like two sides of the same coin, or two different sides of the same coin. And the TV that my brother and I got my dad for Christmas way back when is a 120 hertz panel, but it's 1080p. And so like if you brought your Series X to my dad's house, you could play at 120
Yeah,
FPS.
there's a few like older TVs that it would support 120 FPS,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't recognize right when you like. I was watching a video, like it won't recognize if I remember the video correctly. It doesn't recognize right when you plug it in. There's a little bit of a workaround that you have to like force the Xbox to get to do 120.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still like I'm still hitting like 60 frames pretty consistently right now,
That's good.
which is huge. Like coming from the original Xbox One to an Xbox Series X is a huge difference, and I'm excited. I know there's not a ton of like enhanced games out right now, um, but like I'm excited for the ones that are enhanced. The load times, like I know we're trying to get back into Minecraft Legends. Our boy Justin,
Mm-hmm.
like the time of that game for me is insane. It's just like it's so quick,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
that's an enhanced game, which I'll be playing that at 4K on Sunday. I'm not using my 1080p monitor for that.
so my new monitor that I got, it's 1080p, but it has a 1 millisecond refresh rate response time. But I don't know what that translates to in frames per second. I mean, I guess I could look it up.
I feel like the 1 millisecond though is like pretty standard for most like newer monitors nowadays. 'Cause I think the one I have at work is a 1 millisecond as well.
Let me look it up. And sorry for getting off track, folks, but that's just who we are as people.
Yeah,
I'm not apologizing for us being human.
no, I never apologize.
Account. I gotta go to where I ordered it from. I obviously ordered it from Best Buy because I'm a Best Buy fangirl.
Yeah, you are,
When I get a new console, you better believe I'm getting it through Best Buy.
dude. I got mine through Walmart, which is weird. I just was only because I follow like 30 different accounts that like warn like give you notifications whenever Xbox was in stock. And so I would just like, as soon as I got a notification, I would drop what I was doing until I could buy one.
Yeah, I did. I was doing the same thing with PlayStation 5. I was really close to buying a PlayStation 5 a couple times, but
I'm actually still doing it with PlayStation 5 because I want to sell it.
ladies and gentlemen, I made the boy decision um, to not get a new console until I lose some weight. So that coupled with some other more active goals, like I want to be able to climb a 10,000 foot peak. Those are like motivating me to get in a more active lifestyle, get in a more healthy, active, sustainable lifestyle, and you know, got to keep my eyes on the prize. You know what I mean? Like I really want to,
Yeah.
I really want to see something like Pikes Peak, or like other the Matterhorn. I don't know. All right, yeah, 1 millisecond FreeSync. Oh, FreeSync mean? You know? Did you know that FreeSync It's the AMD. I don't know exactly what it means, but like I know it's compatible with Xbox. Um,
Yeah, I think I knew that.
so I guess I could just Google what does 1 millisecond translate to.
Yeah, you probably could.
What
Yeah, we
does
really got off topic there. I guess this episode was more of less of a topic based and more of like, hey,
this is
we're
who we
nerds.
are?
In
Okay,
case you didn't know, I'm Jacob.
I'm Weiss. Oh, my refresh rate's 75 hertz,
Okay.
so it's a little bit better than 60, but not quite as good as 120.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. So I mean, I guess I would notice a little bit better refresh rate if I were to get the Series X. I guess I would notice it a little bit.
Yeah, because and things would be playing at 60 frames
Mm-hmm.
or closer to 70 more consistently.
Yeah,
Whereas like right now, you're probably in the 40s with your current Xbox.
probably. Yeah, depending on the game. I don't know.
Yeah. Some of it's really hard to tell. Like some games, it's hard to tell like if it's 60 or not. I feel like okay, Apex is hard for me to just tell when I'm dropping frames.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's just because it's native 4K. Like
Dang,
the graphics are already enhanced so well.
dang. Maybe I'll play Apex with you tonight.
Dang, maybe.
I haven't played.
Although I might just be playing uh New Vegas.
Fair enough.
Dang, or maybe we play Dungeons, Minecraft Dungeons.
Oh shoot! Don't tempt me with a good time.
Dude, I might. We'll see.
Maybe we could get Justin in on that too. Who knows?
Ooh, I don't think he's going to be available today.
He's got things going on.
I don't know. He just said he was only available on Sunday, so I feel like
Oh, fair enough.
we can get a level up some before Sunday, so we can toast him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I played one level by myself, and it was like actually kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I played it on kind of hard. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Cool. Well, I've got nothing else to talk about in terms of my history with games. I'm sure as we go about with this series, I will remember more things about my history with games as we talk about other topics. But that's who I am. I'm a gamer.
I'm also a gamer and a guy that just loves video games.
Yeah, you can't blame me for loving video games, right?
Correct. Jacob, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me on Twitter at Jake Moore, the number one. That's really the only place I'm active anymore. Occasionally, I'll post on Instagram at Jake D Moore. That is JAKEDMORE, or Jaked Moore, as some people like to call it. Or I mean, if you're interested, hit me up on Xbox. Sloth More, all one word, all lowercase, more with two O's.
Folks, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm pretty active on both places at The Weiss is Right. Follow Weisscast for all your GamerPod updates on Instagram and Twitter. Also at Weisscast. If you want to play video games with me, I'm on Xbox at Slayerinator or PlayStation at Slayherinator.
Whoa,
There's an H in it.
that's weird.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that.
Well,
I don't
Slayerinator,
like.
it was taken on PlayStation, so I just put what originally was a silent H in it, but then I thought it was funny to say the H. Um, so
I don't like Slay Pertinator. That's just weird when you say it like that.
yeah.
Like I don't know. That makes me feel uncomfortable. Dude, you should find whoever has Slayernator and just like buy it from them. Be like, dude, here's $5.
Here you go. But that's all we have for this week. Thank you for tuning in to the first ever Gamer Pod, and we will see you next week.
Peace.